Hey guys, welcome back to the Thisissoul Skate Shop YouTube channel. We are here right now in our store in Amsterdam. This is the protection area and today I'm going to talk about protection sets. This is especially important for first-time skaters who don't want to think about protection too much, have a general sense of being protected and have a good price-quality balance. Protection sets are great for that. If you want to dive a little bit more into protection and see what are the nuances of all the details, then continue watching this video because I'm gonna dive deep into it. So check it out. So welcome to the Thisissoul YouTube channel. I am Ivo and we're in our store here in Amsterdam. We have a web shop, Thisissoul.com, and you can buy, of course, protection sets in our store here or on our web shop. Shopping online, however, is very complicated because you can never know exactly how everything will fit. And in this video, I'll talk about protection set fit a bit to inform you viewers on YouTube a little bit more about it. First off, in a general sense, the protection sets usually have a great price-quality balance. So you spend like about 25 to 30 euros, then you have a good protection set. The most expensive one we have is 60 euros from TSG. That one is really good. And but for 25 to 30 euros, you're fine, and you're all set, and you don't have to think about it anymore. So it's a good way to have a general sense of being protected as a first-time skater. Things to look out for in your protection set are mainly in the knee pad area. Elbow pads are usually fine, wrist guards are usually fine, but the knee pads can have a hit or miss aspect. And there's two things to look out for. The first thing is you should have a wraparound piece of fabric that goes around in the back of your knee. It looks something like this, next to the Velcro straps that are always on every knee pad. And also the knee pad should be flat in the plastic area. So the plastic hardtop that's in the front should be flat. If it's pointy, some mainly fitness focused protection sets have like pointy knee pads. Those are not the ones you want, because if you fall on them, the pointy ones will either like switch to one side or another, and you don't even want to have your knee pad have the ability to move around. It should be like fixed on your knees, and it should, yeah, if you're gonna do a perfect fall, you're gonna fall straight forward and you want to have a flat area for that. So these are the two things to look out for. Of course, on our website, Thisissoul.com, and in our store, we only have the good sets with those two aspects. We have a bunch of different sets from different companies, naming, boom, here's Stampish, boom, this is THG, this is the one which is the best quality, 60 euros, oh, Bullet, oh, this is a Power Slide women's set, oh, another colorway of the Power Slide women's set, a children rollerblade set, Move protection. And that's it right now. Maybe in the future we'll have a bunch more, or we'll drop a few brands. It's constantly in motion, of course. But in general, most of these sets basically do the same thing and cost about the same price. So let me talk first about how these sets fit. And the fit is a really important part of the set because actually you're wearing it and it should do its job, naming staying in place when you're falling. So the wraparound thing of the knee we already talked about is an important thing to consider. But the other thing is that everybody's actually different. So some people are really tall, some people are really short, some people are really wide, some people are really skinny, some people have big hands or small hands, wide knees or really small knees. And these protection sets are really average. And they're not just average. They're average for a man, because if you're a woman, then women of course have, in a broad sense, different proportions than men, and they tend to have smaller hands. Not always, of course, but do in fact in general. And if you buy then like a set that would fit your knee as a woman, so maybe like a size large would fit your knee, then the hands would probably be way too big for you. So that's definitely something you should look out for if you're a woman watching this and you think about buying a set. It might be better to buy everything separate. So get like a size small wrist guard and a size large knee pad. I actually tested all the sets that we had in size large and tried on the wrist guards. And even for the sets that are marketed as women's sets, the wrist guards in size L were still my size L. And I have big hands, so if they fit me in a size large, then probably they will not fit for a lot of women because my hands are as big as it gets. Again, advice, don't get a set if you're a woman, probably. Unless you don't want to think about it too much, then just get a set, feel general protection, have too big wrist guards. And that's also good. So that was it about fit. Then next parts I'm gonna talk about the knee guards, elbow guards, and wrist guards. First stop is the knee guards, the knee pads. The first thing I want to say about that is that I've seen a lot of people fall that are not experienced with falling, and they actually don't really fall on their knees. I'm not saying that it's not impossible to fall on your knees, but in general people fall like a plank because you're so used to avoid falling on your knees that that most people, when they fall, they just point their hands forward and they just go into like a push-up position on the ground, and that their knees are like hovering over the ground. So to be able to utilize your knee pads, you have to practice falling on your knees. And this is called the Rockstar knee slide. This is a falling technique that we teach. We have a skate school here. We have a whole team of teachers, and we give classes every week that you can subscribe for online on our web shop. You can register, and in those classes we can teach you how to do the Rockstar knee slide. We also do private lessons, of course, and if you buy a pair of skates online on our web shop or in our store, you're able to cash in a free lesson as well. The knee pads that come in the set, they are usually fine. At least the ones that we sell are usually fine knee pads. And there's one downside though, is that even though they work proper, is that they can only take, I don't know, this is a rough estimate that I just made up. They can only take like 50 to 100 falls. Might be less, might be more, but it's a rough estimate. So if you fall like a lot, you're gonna wear down your knee pads really quickly. That's one big downside. So, and 50 falls is not a lot if you're actually practicing. So, because if you're practicing 10 falls, that's like done in a couple of minutes. So if you're thinking about what to do for knee pads, then my main advice is practice falling on your knees. And then out of that advice kind of like comes the second advice: get some knee pads that can handle you practicing on them. And those knee pads are usually like the pro versions, like the better quality versions. They are somewhere between 35 and 100 euros, but they will last you like 1,000 times. This is another number I just made up. There's no science behind it. But just to give you a general sense of how long they will last you. The general advice, the big tip that I have is get some good knee pads. If you don't plan on falling too much and you're fine with just doing like a push-up position because you didn't practice falling and you just want to avoid having like a little bit of a scratch, then the knee pads that are in the sets are fine. You can also get one that's underneath your pants if you don't like the look of those knee pads that go over your pants with the plastic cap. We also have protection that goes underneath. That's the ones that are missing the plastic cap. Next part of the 3-pack is the elbow. There's elbow protection in every set. This is actually the same type of protection than the knee protection, because the elbow and the knee have the same joint. So one smart thing that we tell parents that have kids is that maybe A kid can have a set that has a knee, like an elbow pad that they can use as their knee pad first, and then when they grow out of it, then they can use actually their knee pad. So you can use the elbow pad for a knee pad for a child, or it's basically just the same thing but a different size. The elbow pad, however, is usually not needed that much because I've seen a lot of people fall and not a lot of people fall on their elbow. Also, if you get the lesson that I've been talking about, if you buy some skates or if you just subscribe on our website for one of the classes or a private lesson, if you do that and you are going to practice those falling techniques, the first falling technique I already told you is the rock star falling technique on your knees. And the second one that we also teach is the mermaid falling technique. And this is a sideways falling technique where you're sitting like a mermaid on your side. And with both these falling techniques, you're actually learning not to fall on your elbow. If you're gonna do anything, you're gonna like touch the ground with your hands, but falling on your elbow should be avoided at all times. And if you learn the proper techniques, you're not gonna do it anyway, so you don't need the protection. So there's something to say about just practicing those falling techniques. Next topic is the wrist guards. And the wrist fraction is the most common injury with inline skating. So for beginning skaters, I would definitely advise to get some wrist guards, because I actually do know a lot of people who broke their wrist with inline skating. Maybe it is a warning for people watching this. Then there's a couple of different categories of wrist guards. There's the standard one that comes in the set. These are usually just fine. They're fine wrist guards. If you don't want to think about it too much, just go with that. Then there's also ones that are a little bit more expensive. And the ones that are more expensive are also probably more stiff and more, they lock your wrist in more, so they protect you better. An example of this is here, the Anu City Brace. This is one of the most expensive wrist guards that we have. And there's actually a piece of metal in it to really lock your wrist in a fixed position. And it has these like shoelaces to really tighten it really tight around your wrist. When I'm wearing these really good wrist guards that lock your wrist, I kind of like feel constrained myself. I don't like the feeling of my wrist being locked in. It is protective and it does protect your wrist from fracturing. But if you're skating really low, and if your reaction, if you lose your balance, is not to like stretch, but is maybe to dive, so lose your balance, go to the floor, then you're gonna avoid all wrist fractures. Because once you're already low to the ground, you can no longer have a hard impact because you're already there. So that's also one thing that we learn with the lessons. And sometimes if I'm wearing wrist guards, I like to wear this. It's really flimsy and flexible, so it does not prevent you from breaking your wrist, which I am not afraid of because I'm an experienced skater and I fall a lot. I'm used to falling, but it does give you a nice protection of your skin. So if it scrapes the asphalt, then it doesn't hurt you. I like this. If you want to learn more about protection, I made a video just about wrist guards, just about knee pads, and I also made one about helmets. You can find it on our YouTube channel or browse through the categories on Thisissoul.com, and you can find it at any product page as well. On our YouTube channel, you can find all sorts of topics, not just protection, also skate related, lessons related. So if you like content like this, consider subscribing to the channel, give it a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. I just fucked up the ending there. Hit or miss aspect. The knee pads can have a you should have good. Wat was het woord ook weer? And see you in the next one. Bye bye. Do we need to do that again?